to give the people what they want. It's Jalen and Jacoby.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I am David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we are Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We give the people what they want.
If the people want an extremely detailed discussion about a 10-second video from a wedding reception, that is exactly what the people are going to get. You all know what we're talking about. The dance heard around the world. Steph Curry getting down to T. Grizzly, being egged on by Kyrie Irving at Harrison Barnes' wedding. He was mocking LeBron James. Now, we all know LeBron James has seen this. What do you think his honest reaction was when he saw the video?
Big shout out to T. Grizzly. Detroit, stand up.
Blowing up. T. Grizzly's blowing up.
It's our turn right now. I'm not going to overreact to the video.
I will.
It's just, it should pull people behind the curtain into the modern-day athlete to understand that while you're competing for championships and you're trying to do the best you can to build your brand and all of the things that come with being a professional athlete, a lot of these guys have a kinship with one another. A lot of people don't realize that Steph Curry and LeBron James were actually born in the same Ohio hospital, for whatever that's worth. So we've seen LeBron come out even recently when Steph signed his contract and was like, Steph Curry should get more money. Why do basketball players have salary caps? So these are the type of things when you see Steph and Kyrie initially, it's like, wait a minute, they just played in the finals for 3 straight years. They ain't supposed to be smiling together. They're not supposed to be in the same place at the same time. But again, that's just how it is nowadays. I understand it. I have no problem with it. And again, the video is actually funny. And like the great American philosopher David Jacoby says, you can be mean if you're funny.
And I think after the 3-in-1 cookies and after the Ultimate Warrior t-shirt and those digs that LeBron had for Steph and the rest of the Warriors after he won the championship, I think that he has to charge this to the game, right? Like, is he really upset about this, you think?
I don't think he's upset about it, but here's a different way for him to feel about it. The one thing about being a teammate is that you're supposed to be ride or die. It's like being a mate. You're not supposed to allow somebody else talk about the weaknesses of your brother or your mate. And so if you're LeBron or people that are really close to him, you look at Kyrie like, wait a minute, it's one thing for Steph to be cracking on me. It's another thing for you to be laughing really hard. Like you really was excited about him clowning me.
Those were belly laughs. He was touching his shoulder. Like, Kyrie wasn't just a bystander and a spectator in this. Kyrie was an active participant in mocking LeBron James. And look, I'm going to read too much into this. I wouldn't do that if someone was mocking you. You know what I mean? Like, I do kind of feel that there's, like, not 100% of LeBron James that feels a certain way about Kyrie's involvement in this, but there's 60% of LeBron James that feels a certain way about Kyrie's involvement in this.
No doubt about it. And how you play it in that situation is you let everybody cook, but you let them know I'm not rolling with that. Y'all got to chill. Y'all got to get off my guy. Like, you have to hopefully, like, distance yourself to the point where we kicking it, we homies, but at the same time, that's my teammate. And I see all of these cameras, bro.
That's another thing. Like, this is 2017, and we are all much more conscious of the way people hold their phones. When someone holds their phone towards you like this, you can pretty much know that they're recording you. And there was multiple people with their phones out, holding them just like this at that action. Kyrie Irving, I know it's a little late in the night. I know you're enjoying yourself at a wedding, but I feel like everybody there in today's day and age is cognizant of the fact that this will make the rounds in the sports news media cycle. Even though it's late at a wedding, like, I think Kyrie Irving and Steph Curry both know where this was going to go, don't you?
I do. And big shout and congratulations to Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him and Steph Curry both being productive at the same place at the same time since a very long time.
3 years, probably.
Because it wasn't in the NBA Finals.
Nope.
So, again, I understand that everybody's off wax and having fun. But when it is your teammate and it is your brother, a family member, a mate, while you can have fun, and you definitely should be doing so, you have to find a way to be like, no, y'all got to get off my guy. No, we ain't going to do it like that.
Yeah.
And so since we didn't see that and we understand that he's already requested a trade, it lets you continue to understand that he's designated the fact that I don't want to play in Cleveland because I don't want to play with LeBron James anymore.
And every single thing he does, no matter how subtle, even if it's just him singing I'm coming home on a plane back from China, even if it's just him standing next to Steph Curry while Steph Curry mocks LeBron, every single little thing is a message. It's all a message to the Cleveland Cavs organization saying, please trade me. It doesn't seem like he's taking steps to patch this up. I haven't heard anything about reaching out to this person or that the person. What I've really heard is Kyrie has gone radio silent on the Cavs, and every time we do see him, he's not saying nice things about LeBron James. But here's one thing I want everybody to notice about this video. We've all been to weddings, and we all know there's different stages in the wedding process. There's the ceremony, there's the dinner, there's the reception, and then there's the late night at the reception when no ties are tied. Steph's got his collar popping outside of the jacket. Like, it definitely seemed like it was a little later in the evening. Do you think any adult beverages were at play?
Absolutely, as there should be. And also, the thing about Kyrie, people are going to say, why would he want to leave the Cavs? It's a successful situation. You get a chance to run with LeBron. LeBron's possibly leaving at the end of this year. It's not like he has a lifetime contract. I think Kyrie's just getting in front of the message. And also what's being acknowledged is that it's one thing to treat me like a little brother. It's another thing to son me. And I think when he felt like it went a little too far in the latter part of that conversation, that's when he felt like, you know what, I've established myself. I want to be out of here. And so, as you acknowledge, he has gone radio silent on the Cavs. The things that we see ultimately seem like indirect messages that's being sent to LeBron and or the team, but he's made it clear. So there is no distinction. There is no gray area. We don't have to look too far into this. He's already came out and said it. I want to be traded.
And if I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm saying, oh, another thing you made clear is that you committed to playing for this basketball team when you signed the contract. So enjoy training camp here in Cleveland. Harrison Barnes wasn't the only NBA player having nuptials this weekend. Trevor Ariza got married as well. Congratulations to him and his lovely bride. It was also attended by the new NBA duo of Chris Paul and James Harden. There was one detail, though, I wanted to talk to you about. At this wedding, there was at one point when Rick Carlisle was playing the piano, and there was another point where there was a private concert from Travis Scott. Would you be more excited for Carlisle on the keys or Travis getting turned at the wedding?
Travis getting turned at the wedding. And also, here's another thing I want to point out. So, initially, we were talking about players fraternizing with one another. Just think back to the Houston Rockets when they played against the Dallas Mavs. Those instances have been a little frosty the last couple of years, in particular with Trevor Ariza. So now to see the coach of the Dallas Mavs playing the piano at Trevor Ariza's wedding, it just goes further to what I just initially stated, is that current athletes and or coaches, as we're not talking about, they have a life besides just stressing about the score of the game. These are relationships. People get traded. People play in camps. People have the same agent. People are from the same hometown. You cross paths in a variety of ways. So I'm not surprised that Carlisle was on the piano. I am happy that Chris Paul and James Harden were there to represent. Chris Paul, like, I'm out of the like. Chris Paul just dissing the Clippers. Can I just say that?
How so?
Because, like, he's making it flagrant, like, I'm gone, and I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, him and James showed up at the Drew League, and they, you know, the Drew League, you couldn't even get in the neighborhood of the Drew League on Sunday because everybody was there. I don't remember him doing this with DeAndre and Blake. Like, I don't remember him doing this with Doc Rivers. I don't remember him putting on Front Street the relationship that he has with his teammates when he's playing for the Clippers. He hasn't played a single preseason game with the Rockets, yet he's already got, like, a Rockets tattoo on his neck right here.
Correct, and that's where I was going. It's almost like he hasn't even played a minute for their team, but he seems to be more ride or die with that situation than he was with his Clippers situation. And so while he did give his all with that team, and they had some unfortunate injuries that occurred at dubious times, in particular to Blake Griffin, I think that derailed their scenario. It just kind of shows that I was teammates with those guys, but this is my homie right here. So I can't wait to actually see them play ball together in the league because they're going to be on fire this year.
They look good in the Drew League. We'll see how they look in D-League. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, Allen Iverson has 25 missed texts and 7 missed calls from Ice Cube. We'll explain why after this. Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN 2. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose in a, quote, friendly, unquote, game between Italy and the Netherlands. New Clipper Danilo Gallinari got into it with the Netherlands' Gito Koch, throwing a punch and fracturing his hand. Is breaking your hand, punching someone in the face, just the Clipper way?
Let's ask Blake Griffin.
It just seems like he was just trying. It's like rookie hazing or something. He jumped into a gang. You just have to break your hand on someone's face before you can play in the Clippers. It's just the way it works.
And here's the thing: a craftsman always protects his tools. I affectionately talk a lot about hold me back because that's actually smart. The first thing you're gonna do as a basketball player in punching somebody is what? Injure a finger, injure a knuckle, fracture a hand, break a hand, all bad things. They mess with your opportunity to play, they mess with your money, and more importantly, you just now went from playing with the Denver Nuggets to the Clippers. They finally got a small forward, they lost their point guard, and now you injure your hand. So it's not gonna be something that really is gonna keep them out for a long time.
About 40 days.
But it's really dubious and it's unfortunate.
It is, because the summer is when you get to work out, when you work on your game, and now he's going to be rehabbing a fractured thumb. I just thought it was interesting, the actual interaction between them two, because it was an accidental slip up from the chest to the face from Gito Koch, and then Gallinari took exception and pushed him. Gito Koch pushes back. Then there was like a half swing. It was just sort of like they seemed to be raising each other and raising each other and raising each other, and neither of them wanted it, and now Danilo has a broken hand. One wrinkle I really loved about this is the Netherlands' Gito Koch, after the incident, went into the NBA Reddit community and started posting his defense and claiming his innocence, which I absolutely loved, especially with the Reddit community, which we are so strong on. Go to reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby. What do you think about Gito going into Reddit and explaining himself?
He's already getting his case together. That's assault. You know, I'm playing basketball, I'm grappling, getting tangled up with another player, and then all of a sudden he punches me. Lawsuit.
This I found really interesting. The Big Three was expecting player coach Allen Iverson to be at his game on Sunday in Dallas. Well, guess what? You'll never believe this, Jalen Rose. Iverson wasn't there. They are now launching an investigation as to the whereabouts of the answer, Allen Iverson, on Sunday. What do you think this investigation is going to show?
Who they gonna have oversee the investigation? O.J. Simpson?
No, I think it's going to be Ice Cube. I think the investigation is Ice Cube just texting and calling and texting. How many missed calls and texts do you think Iverson has on his phone right now?
150.
Yeah, he's not replying to any of them. Not even reading them.
First off, it's Ice Cube. Then it's Big Kibo, Roger Mason, the commissioner of the league, and then the guys you play with.
Yep.
They're trying to figure out, like, what's going on with the game. Is he going to play? Is he going to coach? Do we got to fill his spot? And then lastly, any of the friends or family members that was coming to see you. Like, dog, we came in town. We thought we was going to be able to catch up.
Yeah, we had to sit through 3 other games in 6 hours, and you're not even there. Well, we launched our own investigation here at Jalen and Jacoby. Last Sunday, he was in Chicago for his Big Three game. Last Thursday, he was outside Chicago at a casino, photoed by TMZ with stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of chips at a roulette table. And then he was a no-show on Sunday. What do you think happened between all of those roulette chips and Sunday?
The thing that stinks about heavily gambling is normally those large stacks of chips, they disappear.
They disappear. And you know what the casino does? They give you free stuff. Free room, free suite, free dinner. Even if you win and you lose, they're trying to keep you there. It's like Goodfellas. It's like, just keep him there. Keep Iverson there, whatever it takes.
Well, because people don't realize when you're in a casino, you don't see two things, windows or clocks. That's on purpose.
There was a horse named after a segment on this program. We got this tweet, and the tweet said that there was going to be a horse running in Del Mar this weekend named Boss Move. Such an exciting name for this young horse and such an exciting milestone for this young television program. We had some of our staff go down to Del Mar. Big shout to Curtis and Barron. Got in the car, drove down there to see Boss Move perform. Let's see how she did.
And away they go to a good beginning. Ms. Viola very fast, and Ms. Viola will clear the field early. Fly as a Falcon comes through at the rail. Honorable Song is in third. Boss Move is on the far side. Then we come back to Coco Loco Mama in the green colors. Two back to Honorable Song, and then comes Boss Move. They have a quarter of a mile left to go, and Ms. Viola is going to be the one to beat on the outside. Ms. Viola now gets the advantage. Ms. Viola coming home in full control. Ms. Viola will give Yvonne Roman another one. They win at about 5-6 in the end. Boss Move was second. Fly as a Falcon third, and then Coco Loco Mama.
Ms. Viola cheated. Ms. Viola cheated. I'm launching an investigation into this. We'll kill the Iverson investigation. I feel like Ms. Viola cheated somehow, some way. How proud are you of young Boss Move and her performance on Friday at Del Mar?
I'm very proud of Boss Move, so much so I'm really happy that we both placed those $100 bets that she would finish in the top 3.
Well,
at 5-to-1 odds.
Well, what happened was our colleagues misunderstood and thought that we bet on Boss Move to win. So now I have to pay Barron $100. Not a Boss Move. Not a Boss Move. I will be following the career of Boss Move closer than I have any other horse since Mr. Ed. For real. Like, that is just straight up. Like, there is no horse that I love more than Boss Move except for Mr. Ed. Simple as that.
The famous Mr. Ed.
When we come back, we have a very interesting tale of another new Clipper. This time it's Sindarius Thornwell, and he's in a little trouble.
These are the tales that I know so well.
Jalen and Jacoby, ESPN 2. Tuesday on ESPN, we have the basketball tournament semifinals from Baltimore. We're down to only 4 teams in this winner-take-all $2 million tournament. 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern, also streaming live on the ESPN app. Jalen Rose, big fight over the weekend. John Jones, TKO Daniel Cormier, with a kick to the head. I know you watched it. I know you liked it. After the fight, he had this to say to Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. If you want to know what it feels like to get your ass kicked by a guy who weighs 40 pounds less than you, meet me in the octagon.
Jalen Rose, interesting question for you here. Would you rather see Jones fight Brock Lesnar in some sort of spectacle, or would you rather see him fight a more legitimate MMA fighter?
A spectacle.
Why is that?
That's exactly what we're getting from Floyd and McGregor. It's about increasing the popularity of the sport and maximizing the dollars. And by the way, what he did to Cormier looked like another love TKO. What a way to make a living. Like, just, kick somebody upside of the head and knock them out. That is just crazy. I wish I had that level of skill and talent. That's going to be my new hobby. I gotta step my kickboxing game up. With that being said, did you hear the roar of the crowd when he brought up Brock's name?
Yes, I did.
That's where you go. Follow the money, John Bones Jones. And that's exactly why he made that proclamation in the octagon.
I totally understand. I mean, I think that like true MMA people and true MMA fans that live the sport, that work out the sport, they've tried it, they really want to see a better fight than Lesnar Jones. But give the people what they want. You know what I mean? Like, give the people what they want. Follow the money. The money is bringing you towards Lesnar Jones. Lesnar's already said, okay, let's do it. And it's also one of those things where McGregor Mayweather, it's like, all right, this is mismatched. But Lesnar is so much heavier than Jones, and Jones is so much more skilled at the sport, that this might be an even fight. Something that I would definitely come out of my pocket and watch. And wait, hold on a second. Jalen Rose, you're going to take up kickboxing before you even get back on the basketball court?
Yeah, it's a great way to stay in shape. I've actually done it a few times. Don't sleep. I got horrible hips, though. My hips are so tight, and I have tendonitis in my knee. And here's the other thing about doing, you know, those type of mixed martial arts sports. It's one thing to actually deliver the blows. I don't want to get them in return. See, that's the problem.
Yeah, I think I would hurt myself just trying to kick somebody in the head for even getting kicked in the head. Like, I'd be like, oh, what happened? You're injured. You're in the hospital. Like, I tried to kick somebody in the head. That's what happened. You know what time it is? It's time for Soft Move or Boss Move. Today's group of Soft Move or Boss Moves starts with Marshawn Lynch. There he was at Raiders camp just working out when he saw a live television studio, a makeshift studio there at camp. What did he do, Mr. Rose?
He got enthusiastic.
He did.
So much so, he went over, put his arm around his former teammate, got really enthusiastic about the female host.
Yes.
And that was unprofessional. So that's a soft move.
It's a soft move. Jalen Rose, I've learned a lot from you. But one thing I've learned from you is you have one very hard and fast rule. What is that?
Don't push up on somebody that's in a relationship with somebody else.
It's a simple rule. It's a simple rule. But not only don't push up, don't be aggressive. Like, don't even let it get into your mind. Don't even think it, let alone don't say it. And there he is, even after she showed the ring, he was still sort of hinting at maybe hanging out later. Come on, Marshawn. That is a soft move. How do you feel about Marshawn's prospects this year in the NFL?
It's going to be interesting because the one thing about being an athlete and then taking time off, it's one thing when you're taking time off and you're still in your prime. It's another thing when you're at this point of his career where he's taking a lot of punishment. And as a physical back, the beast mode that we've grown to love, it's going to be interesting to see if he can endure that level of punishment. The Raiders are going to need a short yard back in particular in the red zone. That can't unlock their offense because they have been really explosive, obviously. I hope his body can endure the punishment. It remains to be seen.
As do I. But that was a soft move, Marshawn. Next, we have someone who often comes up in the soft move or boss move segment. Gentleman by the name of Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was being joined by a mariachi band singing and dancing La Bamba. Jalen Rose, Dwayne Wade's La Bamba. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Oh, I like it.
And I'm going to tell you why. I appreciate the role. I love power couples. He and Gabrielle are one of my favorites.
We always support power couples here at J&J.
But this is the thing I love the most. He was dancing up on her like a cat daddy. Like, come here. And she move away a little bit. He go a little closer. He go a little closer. I'm like, okay, D-Wade, a little frisky.
I liked how he was basically doing the Running Man challenge. Like, didn't really have a dance that matched the La Bamba theme. You know, he was just getting into it. You know what? Good for him. Good for him.
I love them.
I think you could button up a couple buttons on that shirt, but that's just me, Dwayne. Next, we have this saga. Buckle up, because this is a saga. There's a television show called Live PD. Live PD is basically cops, but it's live. It's happening right there in the moment. And now we have Clippers rookie Sindarius Thornwell, who was on this program. And let me tell you why he was on this program. He was on this program because his girlfriend was pulled over for speeding. His girlfriend was speeding because she was following Sindarius because I believe she was kicking him out of the house, and he was on his way to another party that she didn't want him to go to. The police officer explained that she had all of his clothes in her back seat while she was following him. This whole scenario, this whole Sindarius, South Carolina, live police officer, all of this, soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Oh, okay. Explain.
Here's the thing. He's a professional athlete. Seen to go to one party and was going to end up at another one. His better half was probably telling him that's enough for the night.
No, she was not letting him go to that party.
Charge it to the game.
She was not letting him go to that party.
And so you're not listening to me. So not only am I done dealing with you, I'm about to bring all of your items to the party so I can put them in your car. Have a good night. But don't come back to my crib when you get done. And this is why it's a boss move. Because I would deem, because he's a professional athlete, he's probably the breadwinner in his situation, and she wasn't even tripping off of that.
No, she was. Here's one thing I loved about it, though, is the police officer was like, first of all, I've seen people do this to you, too. They're like, oh, I know you from somewhere. Where do you work? And he was like, I don't have a job. He's like, I don't have a job. And he's wearing an L.A. Clippers team-issued T-shirt. And then, if you look at it closely, while he's talking to the police officer, after he said he doesn't have a job, he starts leaning against the car in a manner in which he's obviously trying to hide the Clippers T-shirt. And he sees the camera and everything. It was just great. It was just great. Somewhere he was just like, I cannot believe this. I'm on television right now. Like, I don't know how that's legal. He's like, I didn't sign a release form. I didn't get arrested. I wasn't even hit with a speeding ticket. How is this happening to me right now? And you know that he and his lady had a long conversation the next time they got together. Boss move. Shout out to you, Sindarius Thornwell. I'm rooting for you next year in the Clippers. Now, next, of course, we cannot get through a day without talking about LeVar Ball. But now we're talking about Shaquille O'Neal coming out with a pretty good diss track about LeVar Ball. Like, Shaquille O'Neal put time and effort into this. He put a lot more time and effort into this diss track than he did that freestyle about Kobe Bryant back in the day. Recording a professionally produced diss track about LeVar Ball. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Oh, okay. Why's that?
Shaq has been consistent, not only clearly being a Hall of Fame player and now a broadcaster, but it is love for rap music. And I can't front, one of my favorite Biggie lines was done on a Shaq song, condos with elevators in them. And so for him to continue to be in love with the art of music and DJing, and this is the first person that he's done a diss song for. I remember him doing a diss freestyle on Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
Tell me how something tastes. And he continued to say it over and over again.
I think he did so bad on that one. He was like, let me put some time and effort into this one. I'm not just going to freestyle this one. And Shaquille O'Neal, as a rapper, is pretty good, and I'll tell you why. He knows his limitations. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm not trying to record an Illmatic Nas. This is my opus. I'm on every track by myself. He got Biggie on a track. He's got the track with the Fooshnickens, of course, Shaq Fu. He's got RZA on a track, no hooks. Like, every single track on his album had someone who was much better at rhyming than he was, that made the album a pretty good listen. Shout out to Shaq. Boss move.
And he went platinum.
Oh yeah, he did. There's not too many NBA players that can say they have a platinum selling album. Next, LeBron's quote-unquote stepfather, Lambo, is still in the news. He's still out here on Instagram trying to quote-unquote expose LeBron. But this time in the caption, he did that thing where he added all these different media outlets. He added Wendy Williams. He added The Shade Room. He added Baller Alert. And he added Oprah Winfrey. Trying to get Oprah Winfrey involved when you're trying to expose LeBron. Soft move or boss move?
Soft move.
Soft move. Oprah's not having that.
She looked down at the message like, I'm definitely not dealing with him.
She's like, look at this grammar. She's just like, look at the grammar on this. All these capitalizations and no commas. She's like, I'm not having him on the show. I don't even have a show. You know what? I get the Wendy Williams and the other outlets, but I don't even know why he's even going after Oprah. Like, come on, Lambo. Like Shaquille O'Neal, you need to know your limitations. Oprah's not having you on the show. You know what I mean? She's having Barack Obama in for an interview. That's it. Like, Oprah's got a very short list of people that she would like to interview and shows that she would like to come on. Oprah, we have a very tight guest list on this program, Jalen and Jacoby. We would happily consider you coming on the show at some point. We'd consider it if you're interested. Remember that collectors convention that Bill Simmons was at last week?
Sports nerds, collectors.
I've been there many times. I had a great time. No shots at the convention or the people that go there. I've really enjoyed it. But it is kind of a nerdy environment. Even the people that go there have to admit that. Well, Alex Rodriguez was there. He was charging people money to sign stuff. It's something that happens a lot when you're a big-name athlete. Out from behind the curtain that he was in front of comes Alex Rodriguez's better half, Jennifer Lopez. She sat next to him. She took some pictures. She sort of like hung out, and it became a bit of a frenzy. Being upstaged at your own signing by your significant other because she's more famous. Soft move or boss move?
You're looking at this all wrong.
Am I?
This is 150% a boss move.
Yes.
And the reason why it's a boss move is she was there to support him.
It's also a boss move because we support power couples.
No question about it.
What's better than one big star? Two big stars. What's better than one billionaire? Two billionaires. Exactly. This is far and away my favorite topic of the day, Jalen Rose. Buckle up. This also takes some explaining. Are you familiar with the franchise Outback Steakhouse?
I am.
They are an Australian-themed chain restaurant steakhouse. Well, Twitter has figured out what they are up to. If you look at the Outback Steakhouse locations in many American metropolitan areas, there is a very disturbing pattern. The locations all form a star around the outside of the city. Clearly, not just me, but people on Twitter that have noticed this have put two and two together and figured out that Outback Steakhouse is the Trojan horse through which the Illuminati is planting their seeds here on domestic soil. It could be involved with the kangaroo apocalypse. We have not tied the two together. This got so much steam online that Outback Steakhouse had to come out with a statement denying that they were, in fact, planning some sort of global takeover through Blooming Onions. Jalen Rose, denying that you are part of a nefarious plan to take over the world as a franchise restaurant. Soft move or boss move?
Boss move. You messing with my money sending out these tweets. All of a sudden, I wake up one day, people got connecting stars. I got 100 restaurants. Can I live?
Yeah, this is a multi-billion-dollar operation. This is just, you know what it is? We can't afford to be in the middle of town. That's what this is. When I looked at it, I was like, you know what? This just means they can't be downtown. Like right in the prime property, they don't have the Australian steakhouse market isn't there in the prime area. We're just going to hit the surrounding parts of the city. That is where we make our money. I do believe this could be tied to the kangaroo apocalypse. We will look into that, and we will continue the investigation into Allen Iverson.
But
sinister. Next, we're going to open up our Twitter feed. We're going to look into our subreddit and listen to our voicemails and give the people what they want. Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN2.
Years ago, and I commented on the playoffs. Hashtag reasons I start carrying a bet. Shaq.
Welcome back. Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN2 at 2 p.m., not 2 a.m. Jalen Rose, on this show, we give the people what they want. Part of giving the people what they want is taking questions from the people. We open up our Twitter feed, we go into our subreddit, and we listen to our voicemails. Remember, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the show. But first, we're going to our Twitter feed. We have, our Reddit. In our subreddit, 41 has this question. Is there ever an off-season for GMs and other front office people? Do good GMs ever take vacations? It seems like they're dealing with free agents, trades, or scouting for the draft all year round. Jalen Rose, do front office people take vacations?
Not at all. Literally, it's no days off, and you just described why. Let's just take the professional ranks for an example. Training camp, and people start working out literally late in September, start playing in October. The season's moved up 2 weeks. So now you're playing really from October 15th. The championship happens at the end of June. Right after the end of June, right after the finals, it's the draft. Right after the draft, it's free agency. Then it's summer league. Then you're right back at it. So you're constantly evaluating players. And more importantly, hopefully, you're constantly trying to improve your team.
I have two caveats to that. Number one, if your team isn't in the playoffs, that's when you take vacation right there, okay? Lottery teams take vacation when everybody else is playing. Number two, the resort has Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? Like, the resort has Wi-Fi. Like, sure, I can still look at my videos and scout players and answer emails and take phone calls from the beach while I am sipping on a delicious adult beverage and eating a club sandwich. Next, we're going to Twitter. Bodini wants to know, if the Fab Five were in the Big Three right now, how good would you be?
I want to give props to the current players in the Big Three by saying probably not very good at all.
That's what I was thinking.
Number one, we all in our 40s.
All kinds of braces on elbows and knees. A lot of stretching before the game. A lot of icy hot.
And people wonder why when I had the opportunity to play, I didn't want to play. I would have been hanging out with AI. They're like, where's Jalen at?
Jalen, yeah. We can get Jalen to show up for this show, let alone a Big 3 game where he's not even going to put up buckets. He's not going to play any defense. Please, you would be there at the first one. You would definitely be there at the first one. You would go 4 for 10 from the field, complain about the rules, and then you would fake an injury and then miss all the rest of the season. That's what would happen. I know that's what would happen.
Correct. Definitely, I would have to say Ray and Jimmy would be the best players because they're both current high school level coaches. And then I'll say Jawan because he's clearly working out and coaching with the Miami Heat every day.
And you and Chris would be great at doing commentary. Next, we're going to open up our voicemail, 985-80-JALEN. That's our number. Call it, leave a voicemail. We play it on the show just like this.
Hello, Jalen and Jacoby. Good morning from Sydney, Australia. I think I'm probably one of about 5 Denver Nuggets fans that live in Australia. I'm trying to get the name Millsap Rocky as a nickname for Paul Millsap off the ground. I wonder if you can give me a hand with that by shouting that on the radio. Here's Mr. Colorado. It's the Rockies. Millsap Rocky. It's the perfect nickname. Help me out. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant. Oh, see, I can see your face. See, my wife has this problem, too. Don't understand accents. Like, you're one of those dudes that needs to put the captions on if people are speaking in another accent. I know that. Millsap Rocky, Paul Millsap in the Rocky Mountains, ASAP Rocky. This is a brilliant nickname. This definitely needs to catch on. I wholeheartedly support it, even if Jalen Rose doesn't understand it.
I'm not mad at it.
I like it.
And we gave him a chance to come on the program and put it out there. We just repeated it. So if it's going to catch on, this is the program to debut it.
I will never call him Paul Millsap again for our Australian fans. Millsap Rocky it is. Next, we're going to our Twitter. Soft move or boss move. Naming your pets after professional athletes. This gentleman put a picture of his adorable pugs, and he named them the Splash Sisters. I'm going to go soft move for this because what are their individual names? Is one named Splash and one named Sisters? You know what I mean? Like if one is doing something wrong, what do you say? Splash Sister A, Splash Sister B. Like I kind of feel like they're actually named like Sarah and Susan, but he just kind of make a joke and call them the Splash Sisters. Your thoughts?
Correct. I was about to go there. I don't think he's truly being forthright. He probably refers to them as the Splash Sisters, but in theory, if it's 2 of them, that can't be their name.
Like, I refer to my twin girls as the Shining Twins, but I don't call them Shining Twin A and Shining Twin B. You know what I mean?
But I have to say, it's a boss move because I've done it before. I really did. Had a South African Borbal, named him Cassius.
Oh, that's the best. Jalen Rose, have you ever seen The Shining?
I have. When Jack's feverishly trying to get inside the door. Looking like this.
Up next on Jalen and Jacoby, it's story time with Jalen Rose. Jalen dunks on Michael Jordan. We'll explain after this. Wednesday night baseball matchup this week is the series finale between the Indians and the Red Sox from my favorite building made by human beings, Fenway Park. 2 of the AL's best teams. That starts at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, also streaming live on the ESPN app. Jalen Rose, when you first claimed that you had never been dunked on in the National Basketball Association, I did not think it was true. You made this claim years and years ago, probably 5 years ago. In the last 5 years, we have constantly challenged our audience to provide footage of you being dunked on. They've only come back with a couple clips. In both clips, you were behind the dunker swiping at the basketball, which I agree with you is not truly being dunked on. So right now, I put out this to everyone watching or listening. Please find tape of Jalen Rose getting dunked on. And don't just Google it. We have already done that. However, you have dunked on a couple people in your day, haven't you?
Once or twice.
You also have dunked on a gentleman by the name of Michael Jeffrey Jordan, haven't you?
He's really dunked by. Hey. You know, he's guarding me on the post. He tried to go for the steal, got into an awkward position. I went up and banged it. And here's the thing, like, people talk about resting players nowadays. MJ playing for the Wizards in his final season played all 82 games at 40 years old.
Well, if I dunked on Michael Jeffrey Jordan, I would tell the story to everybody that I came across. And you do the same thing. Let's watch Story Time with Jalen Rose.
Now it's a distinct difference playing against Michael Jordan as he was leading the Bulls versus Michael Jordan, he's playing for the Wizards. I'm a Detroit native, a Piston fan, a Bad Boys fan. So when we were having our rivalries with the Bulls, the Pistons walked off the floor without shaking the Bulls' hands. So I was like, yeah, I love that. As a Detroiter, we had to be bad. We had to create rivals. We had to do something different, play with the big boys. So while I've always respected the greatness of Michael Jordan, I actually rooted against the Bulls because I was rooting for the Pistons.
So now it's 1998 NBA Finals. Chicago Bulls at Utah Jazz.
Jordan hits the shot against Byron Russell. He's retired.
Cut to 4 years later.
Jordan decides he wants to play again for the Wizards. So I remember playing against the Sometimes I Dream That He Is Me, Mike in Chicago. And then I'm playing against the guy for Washington. I'm like, he became more of the, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. It wasn't every time. So I'm like, I can actually make some moves against this guy that he can't stop. So when we go to Washington, I'm in his face. So I'm taking him on the post, jump hooking over him, scoring buckets. I had like 30 that game. I did a play and I actually dunked, not on him, but around him. And I was hanging on the rim and I started talking trash. I came down off the rim. I said something that you can't be repeated on our airways. It was very volatile. It was very rude and disrespectful. And I got ejected. Had 30 points late in the third quarter against Michael Jordan and the Wizards. I get ejected on national TV. That could have been the game of my life.
When you have 30 points in the third quarter against Michael Jordan, what are you saying to yourself?
I'm about to get 50. That's what I was saying. And I couldn't jump over a phone book as a player. So if I get a dunk and Michael Jordan's in the vicinity, I got pumped up. And I got too pumped to where I got kicked out of the game. And that was stupid.
I love that you got kicked out. I think that makes the story even better than getting 50. It's like, I dunked on Michael Jordan, got so excited that they wouldn't even let me in the building anymore.
And big shout out to my mentor, Coach Doug Collins, was on the sideline for the Wizards that day.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yes, indeed.
So we looked at some other footage from that game. It seems like you were chirping a lot during that particular evening there. Just a lot. You had another dunk where you were yelling at Rip Hamilton afterwards. Like, why were you so angry, Jalen?
Oh, man. Here's what happens when you're playing on a team that's not going to the playoffs. You try to win every possession, and it becomes so frustrating. That's why I related a lot to Boogie Cousins when he was with the Kings, because you need every possession to go your way. So I was hostile and volatile out there.
Yes, you were. And again, anyone watching this, anyone listening, we need footage of Jalen Rose getting dunked on. Not from the dunk contest. We've all seen that one. You know, not from the commercial, Greg's in Detroit. We've all seen that one.
Shout
we need
Greg's
live game action of Jalen Rose getting dunked on. We have not seen it in the last 5 years. There is a very valuable reward if you can provide this footage. Jalen Rose, do you think you could dunk on Michael Jordan right now?
I can dunk. I can't dunk on anybody. I'm happy to be up there just trying to do it. And after I run a couple of games, I won't be able to.
You can dunk. Make sure you Google all the other story times we have with Jalen Rose. They're on the internet. We'll be back tomorrow, Jalen and Jacoby, on ESPN2 at 2 p.m. Unless some executives watch today and decide that we're canceled. It's always on the table. Always on the table. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully.
Got to give the people